This week on Raiders Talk of the Nation, a year of new adventures as a former Raider takes on a new position.
But our goal is to put a good product on the field, but also growing these men at being better brothers, better husbands, better sons, better friends.
An award-winning comedian's latest project pairs him with his daughter.
This is the best thing that I think that's ever happened to me in life.
And one of the biggest stars on the planet is cooking up the latest sports team to hit Las Vegas.
Vegas is a critical part of our league. Vegas, we always had our eyes on Vegas.
This is only the beginning of what's coming your way right now on Raiders Talk of the Nation.
Hey everybody, this is George Lopez, and you're watching Raiders Talk of the Nation. What else will be watching?
What's up, Raider Nation? I'm Sibley Scoles, and we are here where the center of the action is at during the season. I'm talking about the beautiful Allegiant Stadium, and welcome to another episode of Raiders Talk of the Nation. Now, throughout the season, this is where fans get to cheer on the team when they play at home. That includes comedian George Lopez, who has been a Raider fan since he was 11 years old. I got to catch up with him to find out about his newest project, which of course is a family affair, and his undying Raider fandom. George Lopez, the George Lopez. Last time I saw you was at a Raider game. We were cheering, losing our minds.
Raiders!
That was last season. We're here now. You're on the stop in the Vegas leg of the OMG High Tour.
Yes.
How is that going?
Well, it goes a lot better, when the Raider Stadium is right over your shoulder. I mean, how can you not be inspired to just win when, the Death Star is right over your shoulder at night? It's the first thing you see in the morning.
Lopez versus Lopez
Right.
on NBC.
On NBC.
Did you ever think that you would have these moments with your daughter?
It's very special to have this. She was quite a young child, very funny and all that things. And, in the divorce, of course, I was responsible for a lot of the things. But also what it's taught me is to face my own responsibility. I mean, it's easy for a person, more men, I think, to run from their responsibility
right.
and not come back. There's people that I'd never met my father. And then there's people that, never take that first step because they have to be responsible or vulnerable enough to say, hey, I did all this to you guys,
Right.
And it's much easier to just, disappear. But then as that void gets wider, it's harder to put back together. So a family that's fractured doesn't need to remain fractured. There's nobody in the world that I was there when they came into the world. Like I was there when she first was born. And, I cut her cord, I walked her down the hall, they cleaned her up, I put her little fist up and said Raiders, and the Raiders, nothing in the crib. But in a day that we're rehearsing, and when I look at her, I'll see her as a 5-year-old girl. I'll see her at 7, I'll see her at 5, 10, 15. I'll see every size of her.
Right.
In my own eye, while I'm working with her, and for somebody who was very kind of closed off and had more bad things happen than good, this is the best thing that I think that's ever happened to me in life.
What does the shield mean to you specifically when you see that?
You know what? It means toughness, and it means, one of the things that Al Davis instilled in football and in guys who had made a mistake was that there was always a place for you. Just win, baby means, in its simplicity, you can't win unless you're prepared. And you can't be intimidated by the way a team is or where they're from. Going through the parking lot and seeing people throw a tailgate party. And in a lot of places, those places could be a little bit dangerous. But in the Nation, everybody felt welcome. And I remember going through the parking lot, people seeing me, wanting a picture, wanting to feed me, drink a beer. They were great.
Right.
I've seen a lot of great things in football, and the Raiders have a lot to do with it.
Coming up, I'm bringing you to the premier End Zone Club at Allegiant Stadium to go one-on-one with a YouTuber turned pro wrestler.
Vegas has so much energy.
And he is undoubtedly one of the biggest names to come out of the WWE.
Vegas was always at the top of the list.
But now, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is making his mark in Las Vegas with a tie to the silver and black.
That's the anchoring, and that's the DNA of the XFL.
You don't want to miss this when Raiders Talk of the Nation returns after this. Raiders Talk of the Nation has been brought to you by Allegiant Air, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Powered by Cox, a proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's loud in the stadium. You're here. You're used to coming to Vegas all the time for a lot of events. What does it mean to be in Allegiant right now watching this game?
It's wild. Vegas has so much energy. I love it here. No one's ever bored. Everyone's on their feet, arms in the air, cheers, boos, whatever it is, there's noise and I love it.
We love the noise. Now, we know you in the ring. We've been watching you WWE, but congratulations, by the way, on all your conquests there. How's it feel to see?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I've been a fan of WWE forever. You know, I'm into the 5-star frog splashes. I go off the top rope. I make people hurt.
When you got into this WWE first in wrestling, did you feel like you had to prove yourself that much more because you didn't have that length of career yet that everyone else has had?
Yeah, for sure. You know, there's guys who have been working their entire lives for it, and they got a chip on their shoulder when the social media kid comes in and gets a shot immediately. So I get it. You know, I got empathy, but I show up. Again, that 5-star frog splash. I mean, who's doing it, bro? Who's doing that?
Where else do you want to conquer in this lifetime right now beyond what you're doing already?
I want to become a billionaire and then give it all away.
Love that!
Yeah, I stole that idea from Mr. Beast.
Okay, whatever. It works. He's doing it, you do it too.
Go Raiders, we love you. Also, shout out to my mom, dad, and Trey. Prime, off to the moon. Let's go, baby.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. He's widely regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. And if that wasn't enough, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has become one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. And of course, an owner of several business ventures. So he is busy. And he's known for his fierce work ethic. Johnson is now hungry for his next success as a co-owner of the XFL. And it's bringing him right here to Las Vegas's doorstep.
Vegas was very important. Vegas is a critical part of our league. Vegas, we always had our eyes on Vegas. Even before the XFL, I've known Danny since I was 18 years old. We grew up as kids together through the WWE. Vegas was home to a lot of big events when we came here with WWE, so there was always a special love that we had for the city of Vegas, business ventures, etc. As we were standing the league up, we looked across the board, across the country at all the cities that made sense for a variety of reasons, and Vegas was always at the top of the list. So I think to be able to come here, hold the inaugural draft here, and also bring in a team here, you know, this idea of opportunity and chasing their dreams, that's the anchoring, and that's the DNA of the XFL.
We're thrilled. We're thrilled with our coaches' choices. We've been speaking to our athletes and putting in phone calls. They're excited. They're excited about the opportunity. And you can feel the excitement, you can feel the momentum of what the XFL is going to be.
So we saw all the things that the NFL fans all around the world saw in Rod. His intensity, his leadership, his style of play, and that's what he's going to bring to our XFL team. What I saw just as a former player and someone who, I love the game of football, but you talk about a guy who not only has passion for the game of football, but also has a very intense personality when it comes time not only to ball out, but also when it comes time to lead. And you felt that.
His commitment to how these athletes develop and his vision for excellence. And it just comes across, and it comes across today in his choices. You can see how he's building the team. His leadership is going to be so invaluable, and it's going to be a delight to see him as a head coach and what he does.
Welcome to Vegas.
Man. Number 94. I appreciate that,
you,
man.
It's all you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
One look at former Raiders cornerback Rod Woodson's resume, and you will find there's nothing he can't accomplish. As a Super Bowl champ, Hall of Famer, analyst, and coach, Woodson is bringing his knowledge in all areas back to the football field, but for a new team. How does it feel to know that you are a head coach for the XFL, the entrance, the grandiose, every part of it is so beautiful to know that that's coming back?
You know, it feels good. I mean, when I started coaching, you know, do you have aspirations to kind of move up in the ranks? Of course you do.
Right.
I think anybody that coaches in any capacity at any level wants to be the head guy. I know it's needed. I think a feeder league, obviously, the feeder league right now for the NFL is college. So if there can be a buffer, if there can be a place where they can go hone their skills for another year and play.
Right.
I really believe guys being out there showing their wares, maybe increasing where they can have an opportunity to play in the National Football League like they've always wanted to, and have that dream come true is our goal. I think the end goal is to put a good product on the field. I know my personality is kind of clear-cut, dry. You know, I'm not a real funny guy. It's really going to be the standard. It's going to be the standard.
Yeah.
But in life too, it's going to be like that because life is unforgiving at times.
I want to touch on that because this was the welcome tweet that you had sent out, and then Dwayne Johnson replied, "Welcome to our head coaches to the XFL 2023. Coach Woodson, I know you know the saying because you lived it. Offense wins games, defense wins championships. Can't wait to see you and your team light it up and have fun." LFG, you already know what that means. When you have someone like Dwayne and then you have someone like Danny manning this ship and wanting you to be a part of it, and you wanting to have a place for these guys to be a buffer, not just, you know, just be on a squad to practice, but to actually get out there and show what they can do. What goes through your mind knowing that is such a big responsibility?
Well, first, I'm glad that they trusted me to lead some men, to show them a certain way to live. My template in football is Tony Dungy. So he was my first coach in the National Football League. He's my defensive back coach, my defense coordinator when I first got to Pittsburgh. So he is my template. I don't yell, I don't scream, I don't cuss at the guys. It's just a matter-of-fact approach. Right. I think that's the best approach. I think showing love to these young men, that they are special, that they have special qualities. Some of them will play in the National Football League, some will not.
Right. That's
just the reality of it. You know, but our goal is to put a good product on the field, but also hopefully as we do that, we keep growing these men at being better brothers, better husbands, better sons, better friends, better teammates. And if we can do all that, I think we do put a good product on the field.
Yeah.
And we win that first chip.
Let's talk about you as a player. What was that shield for you? What did it represent?
My childhood. So when I first started playing, I played for the Power Raiders. 9 years old, asked my mama, can I start playing football? And she was like, yeah. And I wanted to play because my brothers played.
Right.
And my middle brother played for the Power Raiders.
Okay.
And I'm like, I want to play for the Power Raiders. So I started playing for them, played for them for 3 straight years, and then became a real Raider fan from that. You know, just kind of grew into it, and Lester Hayes had his poster in my room, going through football and having the coach that I had who made it fun.
Right.
It wasn't about winning and losing. I mean, obviously we want to win, but he made the game fun for me and wanted me to keep playing.
Yeah.
Because if I had a mean coach when I was a little kid, I'd have been like, dude, I am so done with football. Yeah. I'm going to run track. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to do.
You want to enjoy it, especially as a kid. Yeah.
It's a game.
Right.
Football, game. So we should enjoy what we do.
Once a Raider, always a Raider. We always say that. It still rings true to your life, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's being a Raider, playing for the Raiders, it's full circle. And I really never thought about it when it happened. And I'm like, man, I did. I started a Raider. And I remember my last year in Baltimore, and I knew I was going to probably leave after that year. And I saw Willie Brown and Al Davis on the at the Pro Bowl, and they were on the practice field. And I remember seeing them, and I'm like, do I say it? Do I not say it? And I'm like, I'm walking by them, you know, obviously I can't say I'm gonna be a free agent, but I couldn't stand there and say it to them in the face, because that's against the rules.
Right.
They're standing there talking. I remember walking right by them and going to be a free agent. And I kept on walking. And I said it loud too. I mean, it was like, going to be a free agent. And a couple weeks later, free agency started, Mr. Davis called me. And I was like, yep.
It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
It worked.
Was that a nervous moment for you to be able to go by and just say that? Because again, like the rules.
Yeah, because I'm not a real outspoken person like that.
Right.
But I knew who Willie Brown was. Right. And I knew who Mr. Davis was.
Yes.
And I was like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They both right there. So I just went and said it, and it worked out. And, you know, I got to start my career as a 9-year-old playing for the Power Raiders.
Yeah.
And I finished my career playing for the Oakland Raiders.
What's been your biggest takeaway in your career so far?
Always be adaptable and pliable and being able to change. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's how you continuously strive to be better. When you feel that you've arrived in any part of your life or in relationships or in work, then the knowledge that you should be increasing each year diminishes. We used to say all the time, hey, coach me, coach, coach me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I want to hear from other coaches and learn from players. Sometimes they'll say something that I go, oh, I never thought about it like that. And I put it in my toolkit.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll be a part of who I am. Keep believing, keep chopping the wood, keep believing in the silver and black, keep showing up. Everything's gonna be all right.
Still to come, meet the season 16 winner of The Voice as she brings the house down at Allegiant Stadium. Go Raiders! Raiders Talk of the Nation is coming back after this. This segment has been brought to you by Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation, made to chill. Raiders Talk of the Nation has been brought to you by Allegiant Air, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Raiders. Intermountain Healthcare, the official health partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Discover your inner champ at Raiders.com/champ. Raider Nation, what is going on? We are here at Allegiant Stadium with none other than Maelyn Jarmon. We are right after your performance of the national anthem that gave everyone goosebumps.
I will say that this has been the most amazing experience that I've had, and I have done the national anthem for a lot. Not to say that everything else isn't good, but the Raiders are, it's just, I've loved everybody. The hospitality has been unbelievable, and it makes it, I mean, the national anthem is one of those things that's very uniting, and everybody sings it together, and it's like this moment that you all come together, and it can be so electrifying, and so to know that everybody I do feel like it's more like a family here. It does feel, even behind the scenes, everybody feels like family.
Talk to us for a second, The Voice. What was your experience like, and how do you feel doing that?
It was actually one of those things where I didn't want to be on a reality show of singing because I never wanted somebody to question me working for it. Right. It was always what I was scared of. But I was in New York, and they had reached out to me on Instagram, actually. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll you know, let's see what happens. And it's such a lottery. There's so many people who love this show. You never know. Yeah. But I will say, I actually loved the experience. I loved knowing, having that kind of rigorous schedule and knowing that my body could handle it and my voice could handle it. I was like, oh, okay, this is a really it's like a boot camp. Right. But what people need to realize is that those shows don't make singers anymore. They don't make artists. They're not producing those. They're not. No, they're there to give you a platform, and it's up to you to do with it what you will. I think as we come into this new year, it's about listening to your heart, and there is a lot of ideas out there, a lot of expectations, and I think it's really important to take time to figure out what you actually do want. Go Raiders!
That's the one right there. That's all this week from Raiders Talk of the Nation. I'm Sibley Scoles. See you next week.